Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the DC 100-page comic giants. These are digest-like books being released exclusively at Walmart right now. So far we have Teen Titans, Superman, Batman, and the Justice League, and these will be monthly for however long they run. It would be the obvious pick for me to review the Superman title first, but my friend the Fan Man, Chris Moe, on his channel has already posted a very fine review of the Superman title, as well as a critique of the idea of selling these 100-page comic giants exclusively through Walmart, looking at the pros and cons of the nature of this compilation and then how they're selling it and everything like that. So I highly recommend you check that out. And I do share his opinion of the Superman title. There are some wonderful things in there and some not so wonderful things about the idea in general. So I will leave a link to his video on the top right hand corner as well as the description below. First of all, though, I would like to take a look at the Teen Titans issue. And we are going to talk about Dan Didio in a moment, as the title suggests. I'll get to that and his nonsense shenanigans here in a moment. But first I'd like to start with what I think is really great about these 100-page comic giants. You are going to find some New 52 nonsense shoved in here, which is uncalled for. It's not that there aren't good stories within the New 52 line, but there's nothing about the New 52 idea or reboot or universe in general that lends itself to good stories. You just simply had good writers and artists telling good stories in spite of the idea here and there. So we'll talk about that as we get to each of the titles. The Teen Titans issue, though, does not include anything New 52. One of the things I like about this idea is that each of the stories that you find in this issue will be continued in next month's issue. So it's not like the Marvel Digests. I love the Marvel Digests as well, but they're really more just preview issues. They will try to contain a single story as much as they can, but if you're interested in what's going on and you want to find out what happens next, you really have to go hunt down the original comic runs or find them in trade paperback form or whatever. The stories that the 100-page comic giants tell will be continued next month, each single one. So I like that. I also love the fact that they're including brand new stories, which thus far seem to really embody the most iconic version of whatever the title is or character they're dealing with. For instance, Teen Titans begins with a brand new story about the Teen Titans, and this is the most iconic lineup that you think of when you think of the Teen Titans. You have your Dick Grayson Robin, your Changeling / Beast Boy, Garfield, Raven, Starfire, and so forth. Cyborg should really be in here as well, but they're probably not able to do that because some idiot at the top says, no, he's got to be a member of the Justice League because diversity and stuff, when it's just silly for him to be a member of the Justice League, but that's a topic for another video. I love the story that we had here, the new story. It was solid. I can't wait to see what happens next. Dan Jurgens, great writer. He didn't do the art, though. Scott Eaton was the penciler and Wayne Foucher the inker. But solid story, great art. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. The very next story is a real treat. This is the old Teen Titans by Jeff Johns. This was pre-New 52, obviously, and this is when the old Teen Titans, they'd grown up, they were in their 20s or whatever, they were recruiting a new group of teenagers to become the new Teen Titans. So it predates Young Justice even. And it was so great to spend some time with Connor Kent again. I really miss him as a character. Tim Drake as the sole Robin, the mentee of Batman right now, with no stupid Damian coming in there and muddying it all up. We have Bart Allen, he's another character that I thoroughly miss, and Cassie, Wonder Girl, she's another one sorely missed. So this is a great story. It's the very beginning of it. Jeff Johns writing and is telling how those Teen Titans were recruited and got together. So I'm excited to see that with wonderful art by Mike McCone. Next is the slot, which sometimes might include a New 52 story. In this case, though, we have a wonderful Super Sons tale. I'm excited to see Super Sons anywhere because it was such an amazing run. Peter Tomasi's stories were just wonderful. He really did wonderful things with the characters, so I'm happy to see them pop up anywhere. I don't really know what they're doing in a Teen Titans issue, though, because they weren't Teen Titans. Of course, Damian as Robin is heading up the new Teen Titans at this point, but this isn't a Teen Titans title, it's a Super Sons title. So it was a little odd of an inclusion, but again, I'm not complaining because Super Sons are wonderful, and I'll forever curse DC and Brian Michael Bendis for taking them away, which they have. What would you expect to be at the end of a Teen Teen Titans 100-page comic giant issue like this. They're obviously trying to drum up interest for their comics, what they're doing now, as well as showcase some great things from the past and maybe reach a new audience at a Walmart setting as opposed to a comic shop. So what would you expect would be at the end of a Teen Titans title like this? It would be something close to the contemporary runs on either Teen Titans or the Titans. Obviously not the most current issues, because you want people to go to the comic shops and buy those, but maybe a storyline set back a little ways from the current contemporary runs, right? Well, no, not at all. No, not at all. At the end of this Teen Titans 100-page comic giant, we have Sideways. If you're not familiar with Sideways, this is Dan Didio's own personal writing, his little baby here at DC Comics. One of the few titles that he writes from time to time. He is one of the new age of superheroes that came out of the Dark Knight's Metal saga. And those titles have been hit or miss. Some of them have been wonderful. The Terrifics, I can't say enough good things about it. Damage has been fun. I've heard great things about The Silencer, though I haven't read that. The thing about all of these titles, though, is that they are blatant ripoffs of Marvel. It's just so easy to see on every level. The Terrifics are Fantastic Four, The Silencer is the Punisher, Damage is the Hulk, Sideways is clearly Spider-Man. Now, there's not a problem ripping off the other publisher. Marvel and DC have been doing that back and forth forever. And oftentimes it's led to the creation of wonderful characters. Deadpool, for example, a ripoff of Deathstroke that went on to become his own thing. Aquaman was DC ripping off Namor, the Submariner, but he became his own type of character. A man of two worlds, born of a surface dweller and an Atlantean. That's highly different from Submariner, who was simply a Atlantean and did not trust the surface dwellers and wanted to overthrow them and so forth. Occasionally people try to write Aquaman like that, make him dark, angsty, and edgy, and that's just silly. Obviously, Deadpool is a world away in terms of character and personality from Deathstroke. That's the point here. The point is that the good quote-unquote rip-offs expand a new area, a new place of the character. They go in a direction that's fresh and needed. It's a new version of that character mold that people respond to quite well. So let's look at Sideways. Let's look at Dan Didio's creation here and see if that's the case for his Spider-Man knockoff. Dan Didio has said in interviews that he liked and pushed for the New Age of Superheroes initiative because he felt that the DC Rebirth had some holes in it. We were no longer exploring certain types of characters that he felt needed to be back in here. And guess what? All of those characters, for the most part, are angsty and basically Marvel. I've said in previous videos that Dan Didio, every creative decision he's ever had, has been trying to push the DC universe into a remake of Marvel in the late 70s, 80s. It's just silly. Those are the comics he grew up on, clearly, and somehow he got work at the wrong publisher, and now he's trying to create and remake everything in DC into that mold, and it's just silly. He said that we needed a young character who's unsure of himself and trying to discover himself and makes a lot of mistakes. Well, you can have that in DC. We have that in certain Robins and stuff like that, but nope, he wanted to write Spider-Man. So we have Sideways, and Sideways is like Spider-Man, except he doesn't have spider powers. Instead, he can teleport, he can rift, he can break these rifts open in time-space and teleport, so walking quote-unquote sideways. Well, okay, that's fine, but it's not as cool as spider powers. So he's Spider-Man without the spider powers. Okay, well, surely he still has all of his scientific knowledge, right? Nope. This young man has no scientific knowledge. This young Derek doesn't have any of the great know-how and ingenuity that Peter Parker has. So what does he have? Well, he's an adopted kid who, because of that, has a lot of angst. He disrespects his parents and his teachers. He has some kooky, crazy friends that he hangs out with. This whole first story reads like the fetishization of what it must be like to be a teenager by a 40-some-year-old guy. That's really what it reads like. I can see it trying to recapture the fun of those original Spider-Man tales, but it doesn't do it. It fails royally. It tries to layer the character with all of this angst and whatnot, but there's just no reason for it. I mean, he could have reason for it, but you're not showing us any of it. Why does he have a desire to want to go be a hero? he's incompetent. It's a painful knockoff. You know, when I'm reading Damage, I'm reading cool things done with this Hulk character mold, and I can see that they obviously know what they're doing, they know what they're basing it on, but they're going in some new directions. But then I look at Sideways, and he's just writing Spider-Man. He's just writing Spider-Man with the certain changes that he has to keep in there. It's ridiculous. But even if you like Sideways, it has no place in a Teen Titans 100-page comic giant, especially in the last slot, in which an edition like this is trying to bring in readers to the current comics. There should have been something from the new Teen Titans or Titans run, from the new recent history or whatever. Why are we getting Sideways? This is ridiculous. I don't follow numbers. I'm an English professor, so I don't even understand numbers very well, but I haven't followed the sales numbers or whatever, but I can say I hear no one talking about Sideways. No one, certainly at my comic shop. None of the usual suspects, YouTubers, ever talk about it. There's a lot of talk and buzz about the Silencer, some about Damage. Of course, Terrifics has got a great reputation right now, but I hear nothing about Sideways. It just looks completely unoriginal in every way. There's no real need for it. I've never read anything that he's written that's been worth the money. His Animal Man run was ridiculous. In compilations, he's always careful to give himself a story. Some of the Halloween compilations and Christmas stuff, and they've always just been subpar, just a waste of pages. They're not always awful or horrid writing, but it's that they don't merit their placement within certain compilations or on the rack next to other DC titles. They're clearly there because he's the editor. I know I have ill feelings toward Dan Didio in general, but I really would speak up if I thought this title was innovative or had some promise or something like that. I see nothing. I see nothing of promise or of enjoyment. If you think this title is interesting, do yourself a favor. Go back and buy the original Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spider-Man titles, and you will find 10 times more the enjoyment that you think you're finding here in the Sideways title. So that's all for this video. I will just review Teen Titans there alone. I do recommend the issue altogether because of that news story and the wonderful, wonderful Jeff Johns new Teen Titans story we have, as well as Super Sons. I mean, I already own the entire Super Sons run issue-wise, so I wouldn't have bought just a new edition just to have that story when I already have it. But definitely for the new story alone, and if you don't currently own all of the old Titans runs from the classic days, that's great to have as well. So I do recommend this. Next up, I will review the Justice League 100-page comic giant in the next day or two, and I might get around to the Batman one, I don't know. But like I said, the Fan Man has done a great review already on the Superman one, so check that out. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Links for all of that are in the description. And until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.